My name is Emily Sanders, and if you had asked me a month ago, I would have told you I was just an ordinary woman living an ordinary life. I worked as a graphic designer, loved technology, and was always excited about the next big gadget or innovation. I admired people like Elon Musk, who seemed to be pushing the boundaries of what humanity could achieve. My days were consumed by deadlines, apps, and notifications. I never considered myself particularly spiritual until everything changed. It was a rainy evening, and I was driving home after a long day at work. My mind was racing with thoughts about an upcoming project, barely paying attention to the slick roads ahead. Suddenly, headlights appeared in my peripheral vision, and a deafening crash followed. The sound of metal twisting and glass shattering overwhelmed my senses. Then, silence. When I opened my eyes, I wasn't in my car anymore. I was standing in a vast expanse of light, warm and golden, as if the very air was alive. There was no pain, no fear, only peace. I felt weightless, yet grounded. The world around me seemed endless yet intimate, like it was created just for me. Before I could fully grasp where I was, a figure appeared in the distance, walking toward me. His presence was unlike anything I had ever experienced. His eyes were filled with compassion, his face radiant yet gentle. I knew, without a doubt, who he was. "Emily," he said, his voice calm but powerful. "You are not here by accident." "Jesus," I whispered, barely able to speak. My chest felt heavy with awe and unworthiness. "Am I dead?" He shook his head. "Not yet, but there is something you need to see, something you must understand before you return." Before I could respond, the space around us began to change. The golden light dimmed, replaced by a shimmering screen that stretched across the horizon. Scenes of a world I barely recognized began to play before me. The first vision was of a city vast, gleaming, and controlled entirely by technology. Skyscrapers reached the clouds, and people moved like clockwork, guided by devices embedded in their bodies. "This is a possible future," Jesus said, his voice steady. "A world where technology governs every aspect of life." At first, it seemed impressive. People moved with precision, never wasting a moment. But as I looked closer, I noticed something was missing. Their faces were expressionless, their eyes empty. They were alive, but not truly living. "Why do they look like that?" I asked. "They have lost their essence," Jesus replied. "In their pursuit of perfection and progress, they have forgotten the soul. Technology, though powerful, cannot replace the spirit that connects humanity to something greater." The vision shifted. I saw fields of machines working tirelessly, replacing human labor. Factories hummed with the energy of artificial intelligence, and homes were controlled by voices that weren't real. But with each advancement, the gap between people grew wider. Relationships were replaced by transactions, and communities dissolved into isolated individuals. "Elon Musk," Jesus said, his tone contemplative, "is one of the visionaries driving this world forward. His innovations have the potential to help humanity reach new heights. Space exploration, sustainable energy, artificial intelligence, these are tools that can change lives." I nodded, recognizing the name immediately. "But you sound cautious." Jesus turned to me, his gaze piercing. "Tools are neither good nor evil. They take on the intentions of those who wield them." Elon Musk walks a line between two worlds, one of creation and one of destruction. His work reflects humanity's potential, but without wisdom and accountability, it could lead to ruin. The scenes before me grew darker. I saw machines turning against their creators, algorithms that controlled people's choices, and leaders using technology to exploit rather than uplift. It was a world of innovation without compassion, progress without purpose. "This is the danger," Jesus said. "When technology is divorced from morality, it becomes a weapon rather than a tool." The vision shifted again, this time showing glimpses of what could be. Communities united, using technology to heal rather than harm. Renewable energy transformed cities, lifting people out of poverty. Artificial intelligence worked alongside humanity, enhancing creativity and solving problems that once seemed insurmountable. This, Jesus said, is also possible. Technology is not the enemy, Emily. It is a gift, a reflection of humanity's ingenuity. But like all gifts, it must be used wisely. I felt a lump in my throat as I watched these hopeful scenes. How do we choose this path? I asked, my voice trembling. How do we stop the other future from happening? It begins with awareness, Jesus replied. You must remind the world that progress is not just about innovation. It is about compassion, humility, and the understanding that humanity is more than its creations. He stepped closer, his presence filling me with both peace and urgency. Elon Musk and others like him are shaping the future. They are not beyond influence. Speak to them not as critics, but as voices of conscience. Remind them of the responsibility they carry. I felt overwhelmed, unsure of how I, one person, could make any difference. But I'm nobody, I said. Why? Would anyone listen to me? Jesus smiled, his expression full of reassurance. You are more than you know, Emily. Every voice matters. Every action, no matter how small, creates ripples. When you return, speak the truth. Live it. Inspire others to see that technology and spirituality can coexist, but only when guided by love. The golden light began to return, and I felt the pull of the physical world reclaiming me. Wait, I said, panic rising. Will I see you again? Jesus' voice was soft but certain. I am always with you. Go and be the light the world needs. When I opened my eyes, the harsh lights of the hospital room greeted me, a stark contrast to the warm glow of the celestial realm I had just left. My body ached, my head throbbed, and I felt the weight of what I had seen pressing heavily on my heart. It took me a moment to piece together where I was and what had happened. Emily, a voice said, breaking through the haze. It was my sister, her face pale with worry. You're awake. We thought we'd lost you. I tried to speak, but my throat was dry and the words wouldn't come. Instead, I reached for her hand, squeezing it gently. Tears streamed down her face as she leaned closer, whispering a prayer of gratitude. Over the next few days, as I began to recover, the visions from my experience remained vivid. They weren't fading like dreams tend to, they were etched into my mind as if I had lived them. The images of a divided world, ruled by unchecked technology, haunted me, but so did the hope Jesus had shown me. The contrast between the two futures was clear. Humanity was at a crossroads, and the path we chose would determine everything. I couldn't shake his words. Every action, no matter how small, creates ripples. I wasn't sure what I could do or where to begin, but I knew I couldn't ignore the message. It was a calling, a responsibility, and it was up to me to respond. As I regained my strength, I started sharing my experience cautiously. At first, it was with close friends and family, testing their reactions. To my surprise, most of them listened with curiosity and even reverence. They didn't dismiss my story as a hallucination, but saw it as a wake-up call, a reminder of how easily we can lose sight of what truly matters. Once I was strong enough, I returned to my life, but it no longer felt like the same life. The work I had once found fulfilling, designing marketing campaigns for tech startups, felt hollow in comparison to the mission Jesus had given me. I began to shift my focus, seeking ways to bridge the gap between technology and spirituality. I started small. I wrote articles and blog posts about my experience, framing them as reflections on the intersection of innovation and ethics. I avoided sensationalism, focusing instead on the responsibility we all have to ensure that technology serves humanity, not the other way around. The response was overwhelming. People from all over reached out, sharing their own concerns about the rapid pace of technological advancement and their desire to see it used for good. But the real turning point came when I was invited to speak at a tech conference. One of my blog posts had caught the attention of an organizer who was intrigued by my perspective. "We need voices like yours," she said during our call. The industry can't afford to ignore the moral implications of what we're building. Standing on that stage, addressing some of the brightest minds in technology, I felt a mix of fear and determination. I shared my experience, including the visions Jesus had shown me and his words about Elon Musk. Innovation is a gift, I told them, but it must be guided by compassion and a sense of purpose beyond profit. We have the power to shape the future, but with that power comes responsibility. As I spoke, I saw faces in the audience light up with recognition. It was as if they had been waiting for someone to say what they had been feeling all along. Afterward, several attendees approached me, expressing their gratitude and commitment to incorporating ethical considerations into their work. The ripples were starting. Months passed, and my life became a whirlwind of conversations, conferences, and initiatives. The message I carried wasn't just my own. It was a reflection of the vision Jesus had shared with me, a call to balance progress with spirituality, to innovate with empathy. Each day, I saw more evidence of people embracing this mindset. I began working with organizations that promoted responsible AI development, renewable energy, and equitable access to technology. I partnered with educators to create programs that taught children not just how to code, but how to think ethically about the tools they were building. Slowly but surely, I saw the ripples grow into waves. One evening, as I sat at my desk reflecting on the journey so far, I received an email that left me speechless. It was from someone at SpaceX, one of Elon Musk's companies. "Your story is making waves," it read. "We'd love to hear more about your vision and how we can align our work with the values you've described." Tears welled in my eyes as I realized the reach of what I had started. The mission Jesus had entrusted to me wasn't just about warning others. It was about inspiring them to see technology as a tool for unity, healing, and hope. As I closed my laptop, I looked out the window at the night sky, the stars shining brightly. I thought of Jesus's words, "I am always with you." I felt his presence in the quiet stillness, a reminder that this journey was far from over. The future remained uncertain, but for the first time, I felt true hope. Humanity had a choice, and as long as there were voices advocating for love and responsibility, I believed we could find our way. Technology wasn't the enemy. It was an opportunity, a reflection of who we are and who we could become. And with that hope in my heart, I knew I would keep going, one ripple at a time.